Dudes and dudesses, it's the Captain here back at NAMM 2018. I'm with Stan, the man.
Never.
On the Fender booth, because despite the fact that we kind of whizzed around here yesterday and tried to see a bit of everything, the one thing we couldn't do was plug into these awesome looking pedals. And Stan apparently designed them.
Yeah, I have a small team, so it wasn't only me, it was two other guys, Alex Aguilar and Joe Brackman, but a lot of these started in my garage. A lot of these started like at my dining room table in the garage, so.
Yeah. So talk us through it. I mean, Fender they've had a bit of a sort of checkered history with regards to pedals. I don't think the competition series was anything to be desperately proud of.
No.
But these things are kind of looking like a little bit more upscaled, funky. I like.
We've had this great line, it's like we did the Fender Blender in the 70s, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. When's the next one? It's like, well, wait 20 years, right? So this time we wanted to get in with more than one and have a family and have a progression. So we're definitely going somewhere. There are more coming down the pipe. So these all started from a blank sheet of paper. So these aren't derived from anything else. They're all unique designs. They all have little twists and turns. We tried to make them really player-centric. So there's some fun things like, that's actually the battery compartment.
Yeah, so I was looking at it.
And so it's held with a rare earth magnet, so it's kind of intentionally hard to get into. But for a battery change, if you're just sitting around and you need to change the battery really quickly, you can see the pots are lit up, but if you want to turn the lights off, you can do that. So the jacks are offset.
That's cool.
Yeah. So if you're like on dark stage, you can see where your settings are.
That's really cool.
So the offset jacks, they're anodized aluminum, so they're really rugged, good quality parts. Really good price points for them too, given the features.
I don't even know if we've even heard the price points.
Oh yeah,
but they're sort of mid-price.
In the US, they go from like $79 US to $199.
So that'd be similar to that in the UK.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, all right. So if I can just talk you through the line really quick.
Please do. Yes.
All right. So we've got a buffer. The buffer is just a good fronted chain buffer, right? Makes your signal more robust, so you can play through a lot of other pedals, and it takes care of a capacitance problem. But this one has a couple of twists and turns. It has a separate buffered tuner output. So you can have a tuner on your board that's running the whole time. It's not in your signal path, so it stays pure. And it's on all the time. So you can be raging in a solo and go, I'm out of tune, and fix yourself and keep going. There is a mute switch though, if you do want to tune silently. These controls are all about guitar swaps. I swap guitars on a gig. I'm sure you guys do too. And so, you go from a guitar that's like clean, traditional, low output single coil pickups to something with humbuckers that's really big and fat and maybe dark, right? So you go, well, I'm going to turn my clean guitar up a little bit and maybe take a little bit of the top end off to make it a little warmer. Or by the time I get like a guitar with a humbucker that's darker, I can kind of set the level so it's about the same and add a little bit of chime to it or sparkle to it. And that way I don't have to go, well, on my Strat, I set the drive here and the gain here. And when I switch to my Tele, I set it over here and I do this, and you're changing things in your whole rig. This way you can just keep it to one place, swap guitars super easily, and keep the voicings about the same. So a bunch of utility in one pedal, and again, easy to kind of fly around on. The Benz is our compressor. It's a stomp style compressor, and so it's really transparent. It has tons of compression in it. So, and you can see the indicator changes color when it starts to compress.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing that this does that's kind of fun is the detector circuit is really precise and really fast. So sometimes the compressor, you play something really loud and it takes the compressor a second to grab it, and there's this big loud pop. But if you play quietly and then just slam the guitar, it just grabs it, right?
Yeah.
And so there's no like pop or noise. So it's got a blend control, so you can blend in some of your original signal if you want. So it still feels dynamic and natural. And the recovery control adjusts how long it takes to come back after it's compressed. It's an easy control set to get to, super transparent. It's got two separate sections inside that run in parallel, so it makes it a little quieter, so it's a little less noisy than some other compressors are.
Yeah.
So stuff like that would try to make that like player-centric. The Santa Ana Overdrive. This was done by a guy called Alex Aguilar, who's well known in the bass world, I think, for bass preamps and stuff. Yeah, same one. Yeah. Alex is a great guitar player, and he's done high gain amp designs in the past. Like in the 80s, he has a dark history of doing rack preamps, like I did that too. But he is really good with guitar designs. And so he did this pedal. What it is, it's a field effect transistor or FET-based pedal. FETs kind of distort a little bit like tubes. They have the same kind of dynamic characteristic. This one, we run it on a stabilized high voltage power supply internally. So it takes 9 volts externally, and it bumps it up to a higher voltage and then stabilizes it. So it sounds the same with different brands of power supplies and different batteries. And this pedal's whole reason to live is all that kind of stuff in between clean and dirty, right? So if you lighten your touch or play like gently, it'll be clean chords, and then like lay into it, it'll bark, right? If you go to your bridge pickup and slam a chord, right? Okay, and now just turn your volume control down to about half and play, and it gets cleaner. And so you can do this switch from rhythm to lead thing just off your guitar volume control. There's a couple of cool things. There's a boost, and the boost can be set up where it gives you either more drive on the front end, so just more gain on the front, or more level, like a solo level, like a clean boost.
Ah, that's very cool.
The voicing switch we did, Alex's idea, it was, some amps are like not considered pedal friendly because they might be like bright or sparkly or chimey, and you put a pedal in front and it gets fizzy.
Yeah.
And so what this switch does is a whole bunch of things under the hood where it shifts the mid character and it takes a little bit of the top end off. So I'll flip it to you so you can hear the two different tonalities. So it gets a little warmer, But if you have an amp with a bright switch on, or like a deluxe reverb that has the bright cap built into it, it's really useful for balancing the tones. So that's the Santa Ana. Cool. The Pugilist is a lot of fun to me. This is actually two separate distortion circuits in one box, and you can freely blend between them. So the deal here is you can start with, like on the cleaner side, if you play, I'll just adjust the controls and you can hear the range of the tone. It goes from pretty clean to kind of mid-gain crunch on that side, right? The gainier side. Oh my God. Okay, so the fun thing is, if you take a cleaner sound like this right now, and you blend it in, all of a sudden you get the width and the girth of the heavier gain channel, but you still hear all the pick attacks. And if you play big, dense, thick chords, you still hear the chordal tones. Right? So it's a way to kind of get more complexity in the distortion signal, so it's not quite so flat or 2D.
Nice.
Right? So just the blending is there. And then, of course, because we have two separate drives in one box, you can also stack them in series and get like really extra gain out of it.
Oh, that's really cool.
So there's a little bass boost function if you're plugging into an already distorted amp. And it just puts a little more welly underneath it. Yeah. So, okay.
Welly, I like that.
Yeah.
British.
My UK roots.
All right, cool.
Okay, these guys are all analog, and they're a true bypass, of course. Yep. These guys are digital, so they use little DSPs. There's the mirror image delay and the marine layer reverb. And they have a mixed bypass scheme where the delay trails or reverb trails will decay naturally. Which is cool because you can be having the delay holding the last note of your solo, kick it off and go play rhythm, and you're clean and dry, and then the delay continues. Yeah, exactly right. So, all right, so let's just go. So here's a simple clean quarter note delay. All the delays have modulation.
Okay.
And then also there's a whole second delay inside that's timed to a dotted eighth. So now if you like just play a single staccato thing. Right? Yeah. Versus just the quarter note. So there's a digital delay model, there's a bucket brigade like analog delay model, there's a tape delay. By the time you get to the tape delay, you can add wow and flutter to it. And a really simple control set. We tried to keep it really easy. There's no shift modes, no hidden anything in the UI, right? You can just reach up and turn a knob and get whatever sound. So that's the delay, pretty straightforward. And it just gets some good ambient, lovely.
Nice.
Okay, the reverb, the marine layer reverb, it's on the same platform. It does halls and rooms, and where the hall is denser and maybe more useful for like soloing work, the room is a little bit sparser, better for rhythm work. It has hall rooms, and then it has two special programs, and there's a variation for each. So there's lots of sounds in the box. There's a pre-delay control, a decay time, and a damping that kind of adjusts how it fades out. Like you can just get kind of basic, simple reverb textures, right? And anywhere from long to short. But it's got a couple of cool tricks that it will do. One of them is this beautiful modulated harmonic thing, where if you just play a chord, it'll hold your chord, right?
Oh yeah, like a zero thing.
Yeah, so it's got that too. So you can feed a chord into it, and now you can play in your dry. So feed it another chord, and then then continue to play over it. Right? So it's kind of fun for like creative stuff.
Yeah, I like it.
Along with that, it has an actual shimmer.
Okay.
So you can hear it's like really easy to get from sound to sound, right? And I'm not doing anything in particular. It's just a couple twists of the knobs. They're really fun to explore.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the range.
I'm impressed.
I'm very impressed.
I'm impressed.
I'm really impressed.
I apologize if I was slightly distracted in that video. I was fending people off of kind of kicking the amplifier and the microphone. It's why, but I successfully did that. You two, I think, did a great job. You should work together maybe sometime.
Sounds good. That sounds good.
So when are these going to be in the shops?
Should be around February timeframe.
Excellent stuff. Just in time for Valentine's Day. So feel free to buy Pete one, probably the red one. I think it's because and both of those as well. Anyway, thank you very much, Stan.
Thank you. Awesome.
It's lovely to meet you.
Cheers.
Good luck with everything. Don't feel too bad about the machete. I really liked it. Okay. Bye.